Interview with Dylan Rubin Royce on the topic of transgenders. What name pronouns do you go by?
Dylan Rubin Royce and he, him pronouns.
Okay. When did you first begin to understand that you were transgender?
Well, I've always known that I wasn't a girl, especially in year 5-ish. And then again in year 9.
So you're about 14 in
Yeah.
year 9. Okay. Have you received any backlash from friends or family since you have come out as trans?
Well, not particularly from friends. They've all been pretty much supportive.
Oh,
and if they
good thing.
weren't, then they're no longer in my life. They're like, don't want anything to do with me. But family's a bit iffy on the topic.
What do you mean about iffy?
So they're not not supportive, but they're not fully on board with the idea. So like, it's been over 6 months and they still call me by my dead name and stuff. So
Does that annoy you? Like, that they still use your dead name?
yeah, I mean they do occasionally call me Dylan and he, him, but otherwise it's female pronouns.
Okay. What are some of the struggles you've personally faced since coming out?
Toilets are a big thing.
What do you mean by toilets?
Trying to find a public place to go to the toilet, because I don't feel comfortable going into the men's toilets by myself. But then I also don't feel comfortable going into the women's because I don't identify as a woman.
That's understandable.
So trying to find a good place to do my business is a bit difficult.
Is there any places that you do know that have certain toilets?
There's one in college, but
Just one?
yep, just one.
Well, that's just great.
Yep, and there's none where I live, apart from my house. So,
Of course. So there's no other restaurants or nothing that contain...
not that I'm aware of.
Fair enough. What should people avoid doing or saying to a transgender person?
Well, they should avoid using their dead name or their old pronouns, so just respect them. Even if they look, say if they identify as female and they look more masculine because they haven't started transitioning yet, you should still respect them. Like, still call them she and their name that they choose.
Fair enough. Do you ever get annoyed if someone still uses your dead name and your old pronouns?
Oh.
Especially if it's on purpose.
Yeah, definitely, because that's not me anymore. That's like, to me that's a different person. So it's understandable when people that knew me before I came out use my dead name occasionally, like if they forget or it's just like a mishap, and that's it's not fine, but it's like,
It's understandable.
yeah, because
They knew
me
who you
before.
were, yeah. But then, like, if people who knew you as Dylan now, and they on purposely say your dead name,
Yeah, that annoys me because they don't have the right to say that because they didn't know.
how do
who
you
I
feel
was.
when they do that?
Really annoyed.
What can the world do to make transgender people feel more comfortable to be themselves?
Just respect them and treat us as normal people, and build more toilets that we feel
Build more toilets.
build more toilets that we feel comfortable using. So the unisex or like gender non-conforming toilets.
Gender what?
Non-conforming. No specific gender.
Ah, I did not know that word.
There you go then.
You learn something new every day, don't
Something
you?
new every day.
What kind of hardships do transgender people face?
Being broke all the time.
Meaning?
So, say different types of surgeries and hormone replacement therapies. If you get them done privately, then they can cost a lot of money if you want them done properly. However, if you get them done on the NHS, you can't get the surgeries done, but you can get hormone replacement therapy. That, at the moment, I think it has a waiting list of 18 months just to be seen. So then that can take a lot of time.
God. And what has being transgender taught you?
It's kind of opened my eyes to the world, so not everything is in straight lines. It's more like different paths that you can go down, and not everyone's as they are, as you see them. There's always something, a deeper meaning.
Most transgender people suffer from dysphoria. Can you explain what dysphoria is and how it affects you personally?
Dysphoria is like you see yourself differently in your mind than you do in your body. So, like, for me, I see myself as a male, but when I look in the mirror, I have the parts of a female, and that can play on your mind a lot, and it can cause other, like, mental health issues. So, it's complicated because it's different for everyone, and there's different types of dysphoria. So there's body dysphoria, or, like, mind dysphoria, or gender dysphoria. And then there's a whole debate about if you need gender dysphoria to be classed as trans. And gender dysphoria is when you don't feel comfortable being your assigned gender at birth. So, like me, for example, I identified differently than I did at birth. So, and then if you want to go on hormones, some places will refuse you if you don't have gender dysphoria, so it can be a bit difficult. And there's nothing like an exact test that you can take to say, oh, you've got gender dysphoria. It's someone's opinion. So.
What does gender dysphoria feel like to you?
It's pain, that's what it is. It's like being born in the wrong body and not being able to change it. And it's really frustrating because you see yourself in your mind differently to how other people view you.
Yeah.
So, like if you go swimming and you're with a bunch of people, I'd go swimming in my binder, whereas all the other lads would have their tops off. So it's a
Does that annoy you?
Which causes more dysphoria.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like a ultimate evil.
As you're talking about your binder, is it one that you just wrap around, or?
It's like it's not a crop top, but it's like a very secure sports bra, but it flattens your chest, because binding with bandages can be really bad for your chest.
Can it?
So all those short films you see with people binding like that, it's really bad for you. But you can bind like that for a short amount of time, and you can also use KT tape, which is a special sports tape that you can use on different muscles, and it kind of pushes everything to the side and holds it, but that can damage the skin when you take it off.
With the, as you're saying, the KT tape and the bandage, have you ever tried that, or?
I've tried KT tape, but it hasn't worked for me, so I just stick to binding with a top.
Do you wear that every day?
Yeah, every day. And you shouldn't sleep with it on, but sometimes I do if my dysphoria is really bad, which can be bad, so.
Does your dysphoria affect your day-to-day life or confidence?
It doesn't help with my social anxiety, and it can cause other mental illnesses such as depression. And a lot of trans guys who have dysphoria, or trans girls as well, they have like unstable mental issues, but not all of them. It's like just unsteady. And if your dysphoria is really bad and you go out in public, it can play on your mind a lot, which makes your anxiety worse, and it's just very bad.
Yeah.
So.
After you saying that you haven't long come out, about 6 months you said, roughly?
Just
properly.
Over, yeah.
How are college accepting it, like the tutors?
Well, when I signed up for college, I signed up as my old self.
Your dead name?
Yeah. And then when I found out who my tutor was, I emailed her asking if she could change my name on the register to Dylan, and they put it down as not a nickname, but because I haven't changed it legally, they can't actually change it, so they put it as known as Dylan, and then all my teachers just called me Dylan straight away.
So none of them called you your dead name or anything?
No.
I know that sometimes on things like if it comes to exams, they do use people's dead names. Would you get annoyed?
Yeah, it is a bit annoying, but as I said, if you haven't legally changed your name, then they can't change your name on the exam system. just because you might change your name again, because some people have difficulties deciding their name, so they go through like trial periods.
Why Dylan? Why the name Dylan?
Well, it kind of links to my old name. Only slightly though, but not really. And I didn't want it to be really similar, so I chose a different first letter. But I still kept Ruben as my previous middle name, began with an R.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a connection still.
Also, your last name still the same, yeah?
Yeah.
Are you hoping to actually change your name officially at some
Yeah,
point?
hopefully this year.
Hopefully this year.
But I'm not sure, because it costs money to change your name.
Yeah.
So,
So, do you think that there's enough support in the world to do with transgenders?
at this moment in time, I don't think there is, because there's a lot of people that give the trans community a bad name because you see them like faking it, and those are the ones that get views all the time, and not the people that actually live a normal life. Well, I say normal, as normal as you can get. So they just give a bad name